get involved.
This is going to be waterfall coming right off of this big slab. It's going to fall behind this log right in here. We'll have fast moving water kind of rolling over it. We're also thinking about doing maybe a little bit of a planting pocket or something right in here, just to help soften up all the stonework.
All right, guys, so this is it. This is the Aquascape pond. It's finally time that I can show you the entire thing. And as you can see, it takes up a good portion of my yard. It's amazing. It has so many places for my turtles to hang out. Right now I'm standing over the kind of the biological filtration area. This is like basically a wetland filter. So it actually goes 4 feet down below the gravel. And this is where all the filtration is gonna happen on this end. And then it winds its way down. And then there's another area of aqua blocks underground where it's pulling the water in. So pretty cool. I'm really excited to show it to you guys. One of the neat things is I get to kind of like herp around. Like there's all these little elements that they included in this that just make me so happy. Like, you know, these logs that we found, you can see this one, it has like beaver teeth marks on it. That's like so sick. That's like exactly what you would find in a stream. Right. and so now here I am, a little thing on the lens. Hold on. All right, so now here we are. This is like kind of the deep end. So this is the pool, and this pool has like this rock overhang. There's actually a little cave under there, and right now one of my alligator snapping turtle juveniles is actually tucked up in there being doing his brumation thing for the winter. And there's also another couple of caves kind of behind me in this area, and the fish are utilizing that. So I couldn't be more stoked. This whole thing is just so amazing. You've got a little bit more of a shallow pond area here, and this is going to be kind of filled with plants and stuff. Kind of the hard thing about building a pond this time of year is you're building it in the winter, and building in the winter, you know, you build it and then it's kind of like when you build a brand new house and don't move any furniture and stuff in, it kind of just sits there for a little bit. So that's kind of what's happening now. But one thing I'm letting happen is I'm actually letting all those leaves accumulate in the bottom and kind of give this biological system a kickstart by having those leaves kind of slowly decompose. Gives the snails and some of the other small creatures in here some stuff to feed on and kind of get a head start through the winter. We're starting to see some algae and some bacteria growth, so it's starting, but really this thing is really going to come alive in the spring, and I can't wait for that. All right, I reached out to you guys on Instagram and YouTube to ask me some questions, and so now we're going to answer some of those questions. So let's start with some of the ones on YouTube. There were some good questions on there. I'm like super slow. I'm kind of like the old guy that's like, how does the phone work? First question is from Robert Brim, and he says, I've got different types of tortoises. Should I wash my hands after touching one species before touching the other species, or should I wear gloves? In this particular instance, I do, for me, with things like box turtles and Russian tortoises, turtles that have kind of a reputation for spreading pathogens between species, I do wash my hands. So anytime I do anything with the Russian tortoises, I'll actually stop, go wash my hands. In the last year, I've used a lot of hand sanitizer, like most of us. Works really well as well. If you want to take the initiative and use gloves, that's fantastic. I know a lot of people with private collections may use gloves as well. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You can never be too safe. So I like where your head's at. All right, next question. I live in Michigan, and red-eared sliders are commonly found in the wild. What is your opinion on why yellow-bellied sliders are not as cold tolerant? I mean, they just don't range that far north. Yellow-bellied sliders kind of inhabit more southern type habitats. They're a little less riverine than red-eared sliders are capable of. You're more likely to find yellow bellies in kind of ponds and floodplains, and you know, you see them in the rivers, but they're not near as abundant as, you know, other species like river cooters and map turtles and things of that nature. But it just seems that yellow-bellied sliders don't quite have that cold tolerance as red-eared sliders. And red-eared sliders, you know, tend to range further north up into like the Ohio River, which is a cold-running river and comes from a cold area. So hope that helps. Next question is from Meredith. I have some turtles. How much water volume I have for them? How much water volume should you have for them, for your turtles? I don't know. I don't know what kind of turtles you have. I know people like to say like 10 gallons per inch or something like that. If you have a baby turtle, yeah, start with like a 20-gallon tank or a 40-gallon stock tank, low boy or something like that, and then bring it up as it gets bigger. I tend to try and give my turtles a whole lot of water and a whole lot of space. I always tell people, like, imagine that 75-gallon aquarium. If you put it in the middle of a creek, it's not going to take up that much space. I mainly feed one of my common snapping turtles a diet of superworms and tilapia and the occasional feeder fish or bluegill. Is that good, or should I introduce more plant foods? That's from a guy named Drew, D-R-O-O. That's a pretty good varied diet, but with common snapping turtles, you don't have to focus that heavily on plants. I mean, it just depends on what habitat they're in. I mean, mine always have plants available to them, and I know that they eat on them, so I don't really worry about it, but they are predatory turtles, so you do want to lean a little heavier on like meat and protein-based foods, but just throw some aquatic plants in there and let them eat them if they eat them, and if they don't, then it helps the water quality, and that works good too. Diego Correa, what did you end up naming your Mata turtle? And are musk turtles better swimmers as they get older? I named the Mata turtle. Since I have an alligator snapper named Lloyd Christmas, the Mata is Harry Dunn, so it's from Dumb and Dumber. Are musk turtles better swimmers as they get older? They are a little bit. I mean, they're they swim good right out of the egg. I have some little guys in like a 10-gallon tank, and it's filled all the way up. And it's, with musk turtles, it's more about giving them stuff to climb on as opposed to free swimming. So they tend to climb more than they free swim. But as they get older, yeah, like most aquatic turtles, they do get a little bit better at swimming, but that's not really like what they're kind of evolved for, but they do swim pretty good. Felix Osterman, can I talk a bit about cohabitation and what my opinion is on it? Both same species cohab and multiple species cohab. Yeah, for cohabitation, I always first look at, are these things that would normally interact together in the wild? So I can put cooters, musks, sliders together. You can also add soft shells and maps to that as well. And all of those, with enough space, should get along well. What gets tricky is when you want to combine something like a big snapping turtle and musk turtles, or a big snapping turtle and sliders, or you want to combine things that don't naturally occur together. So you start trying to throw together, you know, South American side necks with like North American wood turtles or something goofy like that. It's a lot of common sense. It's a lot of research. Just look at like what things are going to overlap, and then even then you can put two things together that seem innocuous, but you need to watch them. They're like little kids, man. You just got to watch and see if they get along, and if they get along, great. This is Charles Gardner. Oxygen exchange from water by hatchling musk turtles. You ever see small musk turtles or even adults exposing themselves for long? Let's talk about how they breathe underwater. Yeah, so musk turtles are capable of, like a lot of aquatic turtles, some oxygen exchange, both through the thin skin on various parts of their body. They can also, you know, kind of gulp water and absorb it through the lining of their throat and their cloaca. Musk turtles do this quite a bit, and it's I think it's theorized that, you know, when you see them in these areas of, you know, for example, like behind me, you know, I wanted areas of lots of heavily oxygenated water, so they would be able to come up from this deeper area into this shallow area. There's a lot of oxygen and stuff there, so they're not having to keep coming up for air as much because they're kind of getting it from the water. And then likewise, when they brumate in here, this water is just full of oxygen. It's really easy for them to stay under for a long time. So musk turtles do it. They're well known for it. And then, you know, soft shell snappers, even cooters and sliders can do it. It seems that any aquatic turtle has some, you know, ability to do that, and it's something that's not well studied, and I think that it would be really cool to see more studies done with that and learn a lot more about that. Who's left? Gladys Mufali. What are the most important things to keep a map turtle happy? Also, is a dog or cat or mongoose a threat to my adult map turtle once I put him outside? I would say a mongoose is probably going to be a threat. I think a mongoose would be like a threat to anything. They're cool, but man, that's a random one. I wasn't expecting that. So you're probably in a really cool part of the world. So yeah, if you have a map turtle, one of the things to keeping it happy is moving water. Also giving them some crustaceans in their diet, some mollusks as they get older, especially if it's a female. If it's a male, both sexes, you can feed things like freeze-dried shrimp, freeze-dried krill. One of the more protein-based pellets that's, you know, of a higher quality, like a Zumed or a Missouri. And also giving them, you know, some aquatic plants and some vegetation, because they will eat that as well. And giving them a lot of hides. This pond really was engineered for map turtles and musk turtles, so there's a lot of hides in here. There's a lot of overhanging rocks and pits and stuff like that. And map turtles, being more shy, they need those hides. They need those places to kind of get away and feel a little bit more comfortable. If you're going to move it outside, cats aren't really likely to get into the water and be much of a threat. A cat might, you know, get into a nest that's hatching. Anything you think is going to be a threat, you know, build a, you know, like an 18-inch high wall, or add some fencing. You can watch my video with my buddy Charlie. He actually took the fencing completely up, over, and across on his setups to keep predators completely out. So ultimately, that's up to you how you want to do it. But yeah, if you have mongooses, I would probably go pretty heavy on the protection. All right, we got the Instagram questions next. I'm gonna try and go through these pretty quick because there was a lot. And I was sitting on that rock and now I can't feel my butt. So I'm gonna sit here for a little bit. All right, would I ever get any black marsh turtles? That's from the Turtle Guy 7. No, I don't even know what a black marsh turtle is, man, sorry. I know there's something I think from Asia, but I'm gonna kind of stick with what I got. AV_D_D says, hype for the Aquascape pond reveal. How much is the maintenance for a pond? I don't know if you're talking about this one or just ponds in general. The maintenance on this one is almost none. I mean, they told me that I wouldn't really need to worry about it until about 2022. So kind of one of the main things I'm going to be doing is just kind of a leaf clean out in the spring. And that's something that I do on all of my ponds, is because I allow like leaf litter to build up in the bottom to give the turtles insulation for when they brumate. In the spring, if you don't get that stuff out of there, it's just going to turn to like a mush, nasty stuff, and it's going to be brown water and stinky. So in about March or April, I kind of bring the water levels down. I just get in there and I just pull all that stuff out. That's about the only maintenance I really have to do per year, is that spring clean out. Sometimes in summer, the community cooter pond up there, sometimes I do have to bring it down a couple times and do an extra clean out there, but overall the maintenance isn't that much and it's not really that expensive. Maybe buying hoses or pumps occasionally, like, because on my ponds that I built, man, I use cheap pumps. I get them from, you know, Lowe's or whatever, and they're not that great, and I use them and abuse them, and sometimes you have to fix hoses or, you know, stuff like that. But I would say the yearly cost isn't that much. I think it's worth it, you know, 100%. If you put down the initial capital to build a pond, do the work yourself, and you will get many years of enjoyment from it. Hopefully that's a good answer. All right, very_V, can fly river turtles stay alive in the surface? Yeah, I don't really know what you're asking, but yes. I guess what you mean is on land. I think they can live on land for a while, like most aquatic turtles, and really most turtles and tortoises in general. The only issue would probably be dehydration. And that porous skin that they have and the skin on their shell probably puts them at a little bit higher risk of dehydration, but they can survive on land for short periods. Ian_the turtle man, are you planning on moving in the future to expand? No, I don't really have any plans on moving. I like where I'm at right now. I used to want to move to Florida, but you know, now I've got like all this kind of stuff going on here, and I'm pretty happy with what I've got. And you know, I've got a few more projects I'd like to finish, and I'd like to kind of keep doing as much as I can for turtle conservation in Georgia and education in Georgia. So I feel like my work here kind of isn't done with that. So if I ever reach a point where I feel like I've done what I want to do, maybe I'll move, but you know, somewhere else completely. Who knows? We'll see. How do I go about getting a rescue permit in the state of Georgia? That's from Rochester_outdoors. You just contact Georgia DNR. You can go to their website, and then you want to get in touch with the Special Permits Division and give them a call or an email. Let them know your situation, what you want to do, and they will give you the advice on what is kind of the best option for you. I know getting the permit for a rescue, there's a lot kind of involved with that outside of just Georgia DNR, so there's a few things you'd have to do on your end as well. So good luck, and you can do it. Okay, Henry Ains_11, opinions on the Badager species. I don't know, opinion, they're cool, they're pretty, they're big, they're awesome. I like them. All right, ALC Mendez 12, would you like to work with new reptiles or mammals like a Bengal cat or a spotted genet or a question mark? No, as much as I've done some videos lately kind of showcasing you know, mammals and cats and all that stuff, the only mammal I had was a dog, and my dog passed last August, and I don't know if I'll be doing any more mammals after that. I'm gonna stick with the turtles and stick with the work I'm trying to do here, but I do appreciate what people do with mammals, and you know, people like the McCarthys, you know, like it or not, there's a lot of big cats being bred in the US, and they don't really have anywhere to go. And people like the McCarthys, you know, and other rescues, they're giving these cats a place to go. Until we change things around here and people stop breeding them, you know, so that they can have people pay to pet tiger cubs, you know, there's just going to be a nonstop supply of those things around. And, you know, I would hope that there's going to always be people that, you know, give them quality homes. But as for me, I have no interest in, you know, those cats and wolves or bears or any of that stuff. I like to see that stuff in the woods at a distance, but I think I'm good on all that other stuff. Bob the Turtle. I like that. Favorite turtle. Favorite turtle is, I mean, probably alligator snapping turtle, man. They just caught my attention as a kid, and you know, I I think about them all the time as an adult, and I can't wait to see them in the wild, and I think the wild is the best place to see them, so that would be my favorite right now. Dan Santo, Dan_Santo. Do you plan to let all your turtles and tortoises interact with the pond? Yeah, so there is going to be times that I'm going to use like kind of this area here, and we'll be using it to do a lot of underwater video and kind of show how different turtles interact underwater and how they move. But for the most part, this is going to be limited to musks, maps. There will probably be, you know, maybe some box turtles moved over to this habitat, and some softshell turtles. But I think for video purposes, yeah, we'll probably put a few different things in here and make some videos to do some educational work with it. So the sky's the limit. There's so many questions. I appreciate that, by the way. JP Lot 13. Do you keep any species aside from turtles? I do have some snakes. I love bull snakes. Kuro.Ninjo. What do you do for a living to afford all of the enclosures and animals? So I do freelance photo and video, mainly weddings and events. This year was a little bit tougher than previous years, but you know, it's a job that I enjoy. You know, as much as I enjoy, you know, going around and building turtle habitats and making YouTube videos, I enjoy shooting wedding photos. I enjoy making wedding videos and kind of capturing stuff for people and making little video edits for people. I'm a kind of a creative person, and so like that's kind of like another aspect of why YouTube came about, is because I enjoy making stuff. So that's what I do for a living. Hopefully 2021 goes better than 2020. Franks_photography. How do you know if a creek is good for turtles from Google Maps? You're just looking for variety of habitat. You want shallow areas, you want deep areas, you want some bends. You don't want a big long straight section. You want a little bit of bends, and then you want a whole lot of log jams and rocks and stuff like that. So if it looks just like a straight bunch of nothing, that's probably what you'll see. Somebody said, let's see, it's McQueena S_Miranda. Any good advice if I want to work with snapping turtles for my master's degree? So what I would do is, through your school, reach out to either a local state government or neighboring state and see if anybody is doing any, you know, offering any programs. You can also reach out to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. My buddy Luke Pearson is doing an alligator snapping turtle study through U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and I believe you might be able to reach out to them, let them know you're a student, you want to see if there's any available work, anything that they need help on, they should be able to help you out. This guy says Chinese box turtle, question mark. Yes, Chinese box turtle. Davis.Ben. Here's a good question. Thoughts on assurance colonies? Are you interested in creating one for a species? You know, I used to think that assurance colonies not necessarily were like a waste, but I used to think that they were good for having populations of stuff. But I think my thought previously was that, you know, they're not going to be introduced. I don't know of any assurance colonies in private hands that have contributed back to wild populations. And I used to think that, you know, as good of a thing as they are, I just thought they never went anywhere. But I think maybe the issue is that we're not at that point yet. Hopefully we never get to that point. But I think assurance colonies are a good thing. I like that everybody does it differently. Me personally, I mean, I guess you could call the stuff I have assurance colonies. I mean, most of the stuff is just things that needed a home and I gave them one. But as far as you know, like I said, all of my stuff is basically for education. And I would like to get this place to the point where, you know, people could come over and I could kind of give some in-person tours and kind of educate in person using what I have. So assurance colonies are rad. Shelled Friends 77. What is the filtration like for your new pond, and is it different from your other ponds? So the new filtration is, you have this area here, and this area is basically like a deep kind of pool area, and it's pulling this water down. Now this goes down about 4 feet. There's aqua blocks under there. And they're basically a big biofiltration area, and then all that water is sent back uphill to that big wetland filter, and it's like shallow, but it's another area of 4 feet down filled with bio blocks, and it just comes out. So like the way Ed put it was that this thing was kind of overpowered for filtration to make sure that all the turtles and fish and different things that are going to be living in here will have plenty of filtration. And right now I'm only running this on one pump. I have 2 pumps that I can manually control, both by like a button and Wi-Fi on my phone. And right now, I just run the one. If I get like a lot of leaf matter, or if I really want to kind of flush it down, I can turn on the other pump and run 2 pumps at once, and it really gets this thing going, and works really well. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, Ed could explain it a heck of a lot better than me. And that's it, man. So yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm glad to be able to finally show you this amazing Aquascape pond, and you will be seeing this regularly. This is going to be a new feature, you know, for my place. This is something that I never thought that this would actually happen. Even when they came to my house and they said they wanted to build this, I was like in disbelief. So couldn't have done it without you guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Appreciate all my Patreon members. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Be safe. Take care.
Well, then you
No, this is for the new pond builder.
Pond
builder.
Oh no, you're not doing that to him.
Come right over here next to Ed. He needs to talk to you for a minute.
And like
Done a phenomenal job
Yes.
as a new pond builder. And you know what the pond builder initiation is?
What?
Have you ever seen this before?
You've never seen this on YouTube?
Maybe. Have you seen people eat things?
Yeah, my brother did it.
He did. Come on, what did he eat?
He ate a grub.
Like one of these?
God!
So are you taking the challenge?
I'll take you the challenge.
So when we built with Logan Paul, I actually had him eat one of those as well.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
And here's some water so you can chase it down a little bit and then drink water.
Can you smile? There we go.
Water. Nice. Nicely done. It's protein as well.